What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. We got a topic today that is fake trainers, right? I think that's what it's called. So Leo Costa, who's an individual that wrote Big Beyond Belief, he had the Titan workout. It was Big Serious Growth 3, Serious Growth 4, the original Bulgarian burst training system. I actually did an interview with him on the channel here, and he has an actual channel. If you look up Leo Costa here on YouTube, go ahead and follow him. He has a fairly new channel, and he talks about a lot of stuff. And he talks about one of the things is fake trainers, right? And I discussed with Leo on the phone, and I discussed with him through email also that there's so many people that he sees nowadays, and he's like, he goes, I don't even understand what they're doing. He's like, the fact that they're in the gym training people the way they're training them, he's like, they're not even getting results. Like, what is the point? Like, these fake trainers are like ruining the industry. And I think that, you know, as Leo looks at it from one point of view, he's very old school, and he's very hardcore bodybuilding training, competitor. He's very an intense individual, right? And I think that I can shed some light here about what Leo is talking about. And I don't want to call them fake trainers, although there's people out there that are shitty trainers that have never had a certification, that literally have never even fucking, you know, completed a full 12-week training and diet program themselves, yet they're out there doing it for other people because they read something in a book, or they just went on Instagram, created a profile, and just started, I'm a trainer, right? Which is not, doesn't really make you a trainer, okay? You know, entrepreneur, trainer, people just use these key words because it sounds sexy. You know, trainers make decent money. So when they say, well, I'm a personal trainer, people automatically think they're making $150 an hour. You know, trainers make $150 to $300 an hour in person. Like, this guy's making buku bucks. Meanwhile, he's online selling programs for $45. You know what I mean? It's not the same, but it's a lot sexier than saying, I work at this restaurant as a busboy or a waiter. So that's kind of how that goes. Now, within the last, I'd say, 10 years, okay? Because 10 years ago, yeah, about 2008, I would say it wasn't really this way yet. There has been a shift in this industry from hardcore bodybuilding and that whole lifestyle, that I want to call it the California lifestyle, where they used to go to the gym for 3-4 hours and train with their buddies, and they literally train themselves into the fucking ground. And they just wanted to get huge, and they wanted to compete, and they had, you know, this whole idea of what their physiques wanted to look like, and it was very hardcore. It wasn't, you know, it was even above like what Arnold, they wanted to be bigger than Arnold and stuff like that. And then the shift started to be where so many of these competitive pros had the bloated stomachs, the weird fucking proportions, the oil and stuff, and it really put a negative spin on the sport and the industry in general. So that being said, a new breed or whole new crowd of people were ushered in, and it became the fitness, not the bodybuilding industry, the fitness industry, not even the health industry, the fitness industry. Now, the fitness industry is now basically anywhere from the average person who's never worked out to someone who, I would say, you know, gets on stage at a local competition, right? So they're not super intense and they're not really entrenched in that lifestyle, but like a local competition where they just dieted for a few weeks, right? That is the fitness industry. And with that fitness industry came new gyms that opened up. Like, we used to have Golds, Worlds, and Powerhouse. That was pretty much it. And then you had mom and pop gyms that were owned by those owners. Now you have giant chains like LA, what's the other one? Fucking Planet Fitness, Retro Fitness, there's LA Fitness, what's the other one? Lifetime Fitness. I mean, you have all these big chains that opened up that cater to the average two-person just getting on stage after dieting for a couple weeks. And it's like cheaper prices, so more people can afford it, and more people are looking at the trimmed aesthetic look and want to look like that. Now, along with that came a bunch of people who, they're not like from my parents' generation where they thought working out was, you know, it wasn't really a big thing. They're from my generation, which working out is a big thing, and they know that they're supposed to do it to be healthy. They're not trying to look like fucking, you know, Jeremy Buendia. They need to get in the gym to stay mobile, stay healthy, and remain strong enough. And I don't mean strong by bench and press and 500 pounds. I mean strong enough to be able to use their legs going up and down stairs and pick up grocery bags. Okay? That is what Leo is seeing in the gym. That type of training is completely different than what Leo used to do and what Leo likes to do. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't train his clients like that, you know, right now. I'm not sure Leo's clients are getting their asses kicked in the gym right now. However, that whole entire group of people that Leo is seeing being trained by fake trainers will never train with Leo. They'll never train with me. It's too much. So they need a toned down version of that, which is now these fitness trainers, right? They're not bodybuilding trainers, they're fitness trainers. Now, the whole concept of these fitness trainers in general is to basically just be there so that the people actually show up to the gym. Because without the person there, the people don't show up. So they're there to see the trainer, and they're there to take them through these workouts that are not bodybuilding related. Now, the way that I kind of figured this out throughout the years of what was going on was I went to Rockville Fitness, which is now Team Eckenrode, and there was a lot, and I mean a lot at the time, of NBA players, NFL players, professional hockey players from the Caps. We had, so many athletes that actually train there. It's like off the beaten path, and nobody knows these professional athletes are there. It's not like if they went to Gold's or LA Fitness where they get bombarded with autographs and shit. It's not like that. We have Manute Bol's nephew that goes there. He's like 7'8". The kid is huge. He's like 18. This is a whole different type of training that I was able to witness that I don't understand at all, right? I was able to have these top-notch power lifters, right? Susie and Gary, I cannot remember that. Anyways, watching them train, and they're like national, global level power lifters. So I had this group to watch train. I had them to watch train. Matt and Susie Gary, that's their last names. And then I had the Olympic lifters that were there. Not CrossFitters, but Olympic lifters. And they were doing something even different than CrossFit, even though they were some of the same lifts integrated. So I've actually seen all these different types of training, and then the different types of people that like to do them. So to walk into a gym and point a finger at someone and say, that's a fake trainer because they're doing it wrong. Well, here's the deal. The person that they're training, what's their goal? What's their end game? They may need to just get out of the fucking house for mental sanity, and they come and work with the trainer and they enjoy that. That is still part of health and fitness. Mental health is the same thing as your fit. Well, not the same thing, but it goes hand in hand with fitness. So there's so much more than just bodybuilding. The bodybuilding thing, I would say less people want to do bodybuilding now than ever before in my life. Okay, I honestly feel like even when I started training 27 years ago, there was more people that wanted to bodybuilding than now. Now it's more physique. Classic physique is big now too, which it's still a bodybuilding training style, but it's not what Leo used to do. It's not what I used to do. It's different. I'm watching these guys train. It's different. You have different people that want different results to attain different goals, and there are different types of trainers to fill these goals. Now, back in the day, we didn't have it because the only people that stepped inside Worlds, Powerhouse, Golds were people that were fucking hardcore. The people that walked in there eventually wound up at Bally's that weren't into that stuff because it was too hardcore. You got people passing out on the floor from leg workouts, people throwing up in fucking trash barrels. Like, the people that wanted general fitness went to Bally's with the neon lights and the track they could walk around and the little foot things that they slide on in the cardio class. That's what they wanted. So what happened was, newsflash, the bodybuilders were broke as fuck. Bodybuilders have no money. They spend their money on food, supplements, and drugs, okay? So therefore, nobody's making a fucking living doing that. Very few people. You know, I think Leo can actually attest that back in the day, very few people were getting paid well to do that. But there were so many people that wanted regular fitness training. So out of demand, this position was created. It's not like you had a bunch of weird trainers and all of a sudden fucking people just found them. It was created out of necessity, just like the physique division was created out of necessity. The classic physique division, out of necessity. Bikini, women's physique, created out of necessity. These things didn't just fucking appear and then people gravitate towards them. People were looking for something. They were fucking waiting for something, looking for something. And because that demand was there, boom, that was created. That position was created to fill that demand. So I don't really think, and don't get me wrong, there's some trainers out there that cannot train their way out of a fucking wet paper bag in the middle of the day. But there's plenty of people out there, like I train people in person that are not bodybuilders, not competitive bodybuilders. And I think people might walk through there and say, oh, it's not a fucking hardcore workout. No, they're not hardcore workouts. I train some people for fitness. They want to be fit. I understand that. I am not a one-trick pony. I'm not locked inside a box. If someone comes to me and says, I need to train for basketball, I don't know how to do that. So I give them to the people that train basketball. If someone comes to me and says, hey, a perfect example, I got people that are like, oh, Jerry, I'm a power lifter. I'm doing an event. I want you to help me diet down. I don't know anything about the powerlifting training, how a diet would even work with that. So I take them and I would give them to a powerlifting coach, right? So there are different people for different needs. If, and this has happened to me before, I have had a coach or a trainer who does specifically stability stuff as well as like stabilizing stuff for basic human movement. And he had someone that came to him and said, hey, I want to compete in this. And he was like, I don't know, That's not his niche. So he came to me. I trained the girl, and that's what we did. Like we swap off when someone doesn't know something, we give them to the other trainers because we realize there's a trainer to fit every person, but not everybody has to or can be a bodybuilding trainer. Matter of fact, if you are strictly a bodybuilding trainer, I guarantee you at this point in time, you're not going to do well. Okay, plain and simple. The people that are competing, they spend a lot of money on that shit, but a lot of them will learn very quickly that it's so expensive that sometimes they can't even compete. And a lot of times the first thing that goes is the trainer, because that's the one sucking the money out of them the fastest and the most. When you're paying anywhere from $75 to $150 to $300 a session, plus your diet, right? Because some trainers even charge for the diet on top of it. I don't. When you sign up with me, you get everything. But some trainers charge you for the training, charge you fucking $100 for the diet, charge you $25 every time you check in, charge you for the Skypes on top of it, charge you for fucking text messages. They charge every little thing. And the person goes, well, this is what's really sucking up my money. So they leave that bodybuilding trainer that only specializes in that, and they try to do it on their own. Specifically because that is not the big niche anymore. They can find a million other trainers that are doing what they need to do because they're not going to be a competitor anymore. So they don't need to stay with the competitor anymore. So now what happens, that competitive bodybuilder coach trainer, maybe making $30,000 a year, whereas that fitness guy is making $150,000 a year. Bottom line, it's a job. Bottom line, those fucking people helping with the fitness are helping change people's lives. Just like the people that are doing the bodybuilding training. I mean, I look at it like this. If we're all trainers, we're all in it together. Period. Hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I see somebody training somebody, I think it's a complete asshole move. Now, what I do is I step back and go, what are they training for? Is that movement for a specific sport? Is it because of an injury? Like, at least I have enough fucking brains now to realize that I don't know everything, and not everybody has to do things the way that I have to do them. But be aware, guys, there are some bad trainers, some fake trainers, some whatever trainers, but there are also some really good people out there just doing things that you don't understand, and that doesn't necessarily make them fake or bad. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com is the blog. It's the trainer bicep, and we are out.